Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Creating You in the Universe with Leah.
Hello.
And me, Sandra. Today's episode.
Yes, I hope you're ready for it.
Okay, ready?
Because this is being downloaded right now.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
No, we gotta.
No,
Okay.
just I can edit it out. Today's episode is Call of Duty.
You gotta keep this in. It's not Call of Duty. It's Call to Action.
Call to Action.
Call to Action / be the change you want to see in the world. So Sandra was talking to me today, and before we go into that inspiration of how today came about, because I like sharing the inspo.
Yeah.
I think it matters.
Yeah, it does. And even though it's not, it might not be relevant to where we're going to go with this, it still was the reason why this came about. So it might have someone might hear it and be like, yeah. And that might be what you needed to hear to be the change that you want to see in the world.
Okay, so before we get started, we like to start with an intent for people past, present, future, tuning into this. My intent for you is to know you're powerful, to know your power, to honor the wisdom within and the power within yourself, and to stop letting people take advantage of you and let yourself shine as the warrior that you are, that you came to be in this world, that you are perfect as you are, and what matters is what's inside screaming to you to do. So I hope, and my intent is that you honor that wisdom, and you honor that you are powerful to make action from your driven feelings. So it is.
So it is.
Okay. So back to the inspo.
Okay. So Leah did a great job of, after I spewed out 5 minutes of just she's all like, so how does that tie into the Creating You in the Universe? And I was like, I don't know, that's your job.
And what she was, I would say it started as complaining.
Yeah.
Which often, many things in life that inspire creativity and change and shift often starts from a complaint.
Yeah, from complaining, like what is wrong? Why is this bothering me so much? So was it the car thing that
it was the car thing.
Yeah, so the car thing is my husband and I, for one of our jobs, drive around the city all day. And the last couple of months we've been noticing that all the cars that are, I'd say 2022 to 2024, and probably some people are driving 2025s, it's all the same car. We would joke and make fun of these cars and say a Mazda looks like a Santa Fe and a Hyundai and all these, and it's just funny. It's funny to us. And then one day I started getting upset because my husband and I work really hard. We have big goals. I want luxury cars, and we drive a Land Rover, old style, and we're looking at these brand new Land Rovers that are coming out. The Discover, to say the least. And after all the hard work that we put into, and the goals in which to have this vehicle, brand new vehicle, they look like a Bronco. And Broncos are nice, but
you're not buying.
I'm not buying a Bronco. I'm buying a Land Rover, and they're very. You know what a Land Rover is. You know what a Range Rover is. You know all the high-end cars. But it's like everyone's just dropped down to the lowest common denominator. And I'm like, why are all these car companies dropping down to the lowest common denominator? Why does all the Lexuses look like a Honda Accord? Like, what's going on? And so that was where it came from. And I said, where are all our architects? Where are all our car designers? Where are all our people that their inspiration for the yachts, for the fancy things, for all these things? Where are you? Where are you hiding? Did you lose your job and you're stuck on YouTube and you're not being creative? Like, where are our creative people? We need you creative people back, because I'm not a lowest common denominator. I don't work my butt off and inspire others and do all these things to create and be a creator, to not want for something and dream of having it. I don't want the lowest common
You
denominator.
don't want garbage.
Yeah.
You don't want watered down garbage.
Yeah.
If you're paying for something, you expect to get what you pay for.
Right.
If it's advertised as a more premium thing, give us a premium thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of light bulbs.
Mm.
There's history that I'm aware of in light bulbs that you can go and find 100-year-old light bulb that's still on today.
Mm.
And these light bulb companies were like, whoa, we did our job so well that we're not having return clients. So let's start a new goal who can create a product that doesn't last forever. So
And that the
we can
masses can afford. Yeah, that's
so
what
that
it
we
is,
can
right?
repeat
And sell
business.
it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's not an accident. The more that the more that a power that's influencing your life can take away your money, make you feel like you're lacking, this all affects your internal blueprint of operation that perpetuates poverty, lack, and all of that perpetuates not living in a life that you desire. So it's not an accident things are being watered down. It's not an accident that healthcare is getting worse. It's not an accident that buildings of houses are not what they used to be. And so we're only two people. Our calls to change, to be the change. We are living in our own ways. And so I guess part of the intent of this episode is what is alive in you? Are you having any self responsibility for the things that you are done with? So if that's a greater scale of the government, are you being involved? Are you radio silence? Are you stepping back when human rights are literally being trampled over, like how it has happened over the last few years?
And how it's continuing to happen.
Here in Canada. There are literally two different justice systems, and the more that these big corporations, government, powers that be push and push, they're seeing how far they can push. We need people to step up, and I can only do so much. And so let's talk about me and my self-acceptance. Because I feel like be the change you want to be. That was instilled in me, self-instilled. I saw it one day, I saw that quote, be the change you want to see in the world. And I read it sometimes 100 times in a day because of where I sat in school and there was a poster and
Right.
you're just sitting staring off.
Sharing it right in front of you. Yeah.
Really. So my be the change you want to see in the world is coming up and being honest, truthful. Those are important qualities. Another be your change that you want to see in the world is, or that radical self-responsibility is, I don't agree with the kinds of humans are being spat out with the traditional school system. I felt left with myself needing so much more once I was finally out as an adult that I probably wasted a decade trying to undo. What did they say? Like for every year of school, give half a year to
2 years.
school.
2 years to do school is what I was told.
And D-school is a word for unprogramming what we go to school and learn, which is to squash the architect, squash the creative. Everyone fit in this box that we'll decide, the government gets to decide and vote on what's best for you and your family and get everyone to follow that. So me having radical self-responsibility, we homeschool, not what I expected as a parent. I mean, I expected everything I got through homeschooling, but I'm just talking about if you would have told me at 18 I was going to homeschool, I'd be like, okay, weirdo.
Home on the range.
I'm not going to spit out some freaks.
Yeah. Right.
And so, but, in all honesty, it's not that homeschooling is difficult. It's that I could do other things with my time. Yeah. I could work full time while my kids are in school. There's so many things that sometimes I would or could rather do. But this is part of being the change that I desire seeing in the world. I desire different humans than what we're seeing today. So here I am, being the change best I can to make the humans that I desire. That's not how it started, but that's how it's going.
I have questioned everything as a child. I always questioned everything. And by questioning, I mean, challenge. I challenged everything. I challenged teachers in school because the information that they said didn't make sense. I've taught my children to do the same thing. They question everything. Even stuff that we say, sometimes they'll go and investigate and say, you know what, I think you were wrong, or you had miscommunication about this, or misinformation. Here's what I found. And they teach me as much as I teach them. And that is who I'm raising. And therefore, other children around us also get us. When we're together, we raise our children together and make this army of intellectual, creative kids who we've taught to follow their heart and their passion. So I'm begging all of you out there, where are you? We miss you.
We need your voice. We need your action. Because this world is not the world that I desire leaving to my kids, and it's getting so blaringly obvious that if I desire that world, I will literally have to take it off grid and make it myself with a community, which lots of people are, and they're having so much success. But I just don't feel like for myself I'm ready to do that. I mean, financially, that's not even an option at this point in space and time of recording. But I'm living in a world where it's like, what, I believe in us. I believe that we'll have men be men and not be afraid to be a strong, manly man. I believe I will live in a world where people will stop letting corruption happen, because taking your money for premium and giving you less than, that is corrupt. That's just one of many, many examples of people idling by, letting the garbage and keep buying the garbage, whether it's your food or whatever.
And during the time that we won't say the name of, those 3 years, I have a lot of people that are doing things now, and they message me now, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? And
like with regards to freedom movements.
Right. And so, and I'm speaking for myself only. I don't know how the other people are, but I look back on my posts because the platforms like to remind you of all the things that you said, the memories. And a lot of stuff is like me literally getting into fights and losing my complete bloodline and losing all these people, all these things, family, friends,
abandonment,
about what I was begging them not to comply with. And I was looked upon as the conspiracy theorist, the this, the that, the this and that. And it's so funny, when everything came to a light, which is still coming out, people are just silent. They look at you from a distance and they're silent. And just finish this and then you can, yeah. So the thing about it is that I have people saying, well, haven't you heard about this? Aren't you going to speak out about this? I put in my time of speaking out. I still say what I need to say for the people that are around me. But I will not put my voice out there right now, except for through events like this. But you won't see me doing it because I put in the time. I gave you the leader that you needed at that moment, and you spat in my face. And that's okay, because I am spiritual, as we've talked in another episode. I can accept that because I know where it was. But don't expect me to be on the front of your line anymore when you're all coming to go and say, you know what, I was silent the last time around, or I didn't do anything, I feel like I need to do something. Then it's your calling to do it. I did my calling. I spoke out when I needed to speak out, and I said what I needed to say, and I stood strong in where I was on the planet, what my thoughts were, and what was going to happen if you all didn't listen. And here we are, exactly where I said we'd be, exactly experiencing the things that I said we were going to be losing: our freedom of speech, our censorship of everything. You can't even say news without being canceled anymore. I mean, it is what it is, but it's exactly where I told you it was going to go. And you didn't want to listen to me. And it's kind of like that person that says
some
it.
People
and then
didn't want to listen.
Some people.
I have a feeling that many people that actually listen to this podcast, that's not the case.
Oh, yeah. Our good people, you know who you are. We're talking about new, you know, where it goes. Just a minute, please. So don't take people who used to speak out as that they're not interested anymore. Just take it like, look at what they did and spoke out for and see where they are. There is a wound there about when we had to speak out and go against the crowd, and we're not so keen on doing it another time. And yeah, it is your time. It is your time. Roll up your sleeves and let's see what you guys can do with the
as you're
path
being
that was
called
already, yeah,
to
as the
action.
path was started for you.
Mhm. And some people, that's just your path. So speaking to what I imagine a large demographic of this podcast is you are the way showers. So although maybe speaking the same way you did a few years ago may not resonate the same as it did a few years ago today, that's okay. There's probably something else inside you that's calling and screaming for you to rise to the action. And I welcome you to use this as an invitation to follow that inner knowing and go forward, trailblaze the next path, and just be you and honor that drive and the power within to be the change you desire to see in this world. It's needed.
So to reiterate, for me, is you had a lot of strong people, and when I say me, I'm not talking I was the only one on the planet that was standing up saying stuff. I'm saying like you, or like there was a bunch of people. Just take it that they did what they were supposed to do when they were supposed to do it, and if you're feeling the call to be the change in the world, then it's your turn to act. It's your time to act and see where you can take it. We got it so far, let's see how far you'll take it. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. I'm excited because there are a lot of people standing up because they were forced to do stuff in their situation. They couldn't comply. Yeah, they couldn't comply. They had to comply due to their life situation, and there was never any judgment against that from me or my crew.
That excuse.
Yeah. So, but I honor you to not comply now and do what you feel like you need to do and take the reins and run, baby.
Okay, so I'm feeling fiery.
I love
Take
when
a
she's
deep breath, because there are people that the right word is coercion for what happened over 2020 and beyond to force people to comply. And yes, there's a certain psychological components. There's a reason why it was used and put people in their risk of their job and their homes. There's a reason that was put forth, because that's powerful. That puts people in a big position of, honestly, testing how close you are to God. Because just off my own ancestry, this isn't new. This government, powers that be, control is the same system they've been using
all along
for many, many, many years, decades. I want to even go centuries.
100%.
And the way that I see it most recently in my bloodline is I have my great grandpa. He was a settler here in Canada. He's French settler. He married my great grandma, who was native. And residential schools come knocking on their door, and he works at a residential school actually as a caretaker. And I often wonder, I won't know, but I often wonder if that was to help keep an eye on his children that were mandated to go to residential schools. And what happened was, in his story, his call to action was one night, 2 or 3 natives, I forget, decided to run in the middle of winter and try to cross the lake and died. And Indian Affairs came out, investigated, and what happened was the priest, the leader of the residential school, said, "This is what you are going to tell them," to my grandfather, my great grandfather. And to which my great grandfather and his wife replied, "No, we are not. That's lying. I am a man of God. I will not do that about these murders of these children." And so the priest said, "Fine, if you're not going to listen, you have 24 hours to get off our property." So that's where they lived. That was their income. And that's what he did. He left. And it's stories like that that inspire me, because in my own history of life, from a 14-year-old, 15-year-old mother, father, we were always provided for. There's always shelter. You think that you are at the bottom, and some angel that has God working through them is there to support you. And so just have faith that if you are being coerced and it is still against you, you need to stand up for yourself, and you need to stand in that power and unwavering faith in a higher power beyond you that has a divine plan. Because saying, "Well, I could have lost my job," that's fair. But to me, that's an excuse. look at where it got us. If this would have been stopped years ago, we wouldn't have to deal with the still declining atmosphere of democracy that we see in my country today. I don't even know if I want to live here anymore. That's the point it's coming to. And that's for me, like I have to take radical self-responsibility. If I can't be the change here,
Yeah, we have to go elsewhere.
what's next? Because I'm not okay with this. So, sure, you don't have to go and stand up for your freedoms the way that some people are. Maybe your call to action, stay home with your kids, raise them as the human beings we need. We need solid kids here that are growing up to be solid adults. Maybe it's creating the technology that stops giving people garbage when we're looking for premium. We have minds in the world that can deliver. Whatever your call to action is, honor it, listen to it. Even if it seems like your whole world could be taken from you, there is a voice inside that is screaming for you to stand up in the ways that only you can.
Yeah, never seen as much mental health in the world as we do right now. The decline of mental health, the decline of, or the rapid increase in depression, and I will stand beside this wholeheartedly, especially knowing what I know about thought amnesia and all that it can do for somebody in that area of life. You're depressed or you're feeling that way because you're not listening to your inner self. You are silencing it, and your inner self is literally doing whatever it can
to coast
along, and it screams at you all the time, and so you might use substances to quiet it, or get on your Netflix and numbify it, but it will not settle. And 2024 I think is going to be a year of revolution, big time.
For me, 2024, it was only until December where I was finally like, oh, it's here. The year I've been waiting for, 2024, because it was February 2020 that I had a little bit of a mental breakdown where I really sat and listened to Source and asked for guidance on when we will see the other end. And I felt like I got a play by play. And so far, that entire play by play each year has been completely accurate. And the play by play finished with just wait till 2024. And I saw disclosure, not just disclosure of like the truth that we'll see. And we have 2024, they announced the invocation of, what was it? Oh, the Emergencies Act was completely illegal. That's been ruled in a court of law. I don't know why it took however many years to be ruled that. That's, I mean,
ludicrous.
I went on a tangent and I
It's
lost
okay.
my
So
train of thought.
I'll come back to that. So what Source delivered to me that I delivered to everybody in 2020 was, I want to be historically correct by telling you that World War III started in March 2019. March 2019 is when World War III started, and everyone was just like, la la la, and here we are, 2024, and we are in World War III. The difference being is that it's not World War like you've seen it in history books. It's World War III because every single country is at war. Well, if we were aliens looking over a planet, what would we say? Look at the world is having war. World War III. World War III started in March of 2019. It will continue until 2027 is when we will be through it all. So 2023 to 2027 is when Source said it's going to be hell on earth, meaning you are going to have things just falling apart.
I believe maybe hell on earth is a strong statement for myself. I choose to, if that statement resonates, it's only for myself in a perception of normies or people that aren't aware of the world like we've been aware of the world.
Yeah.
Where
people are coming into their awakening.
Instead of cognitive dissonance, they will see the world that they're living in, and it won't be the world that you thought. I remember quite vividly the first time I recognized my government allowed bad things to happen to me and had been doing so my entire life. That was really hard for me and completely changed my view of the world. So in that sense, I could see hell on Earth.
Because when you come in through your awakening, for those who haven't actually had, people get bits and pieces of awakening, and the moment that it gets uncomfortable, you go back to sleep, which is perfectly fine. It is what it is. But there will become a time when you can no longer go to sleep, and I believe that's what they're saying, the hell on earth. When you go through your awakening, it feels like the depiction of what hell is in movies, where the illusions are gone, the everything is not what it seems, and the feeling of being so out of control, but it only lasts for so long, and then the beauty entails, and then it's heaven on earth. But it's a very, very difficult time while you go through that.
And even just knowing what I know with all the rabbit holes and confirmed things is there's actually a lot of hellish Luciferian practices that have been present in culture my whole life and before my life that I wasn't even cognitive of until I saw the world the way I see now. And now it's clear. How could I have not seen that before?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're living in it and you're not quite there, it's your normal. And when you awaken to that, it can feel like a hell on earth.
Yeah.
For myself, I remember what I was saying is 2024 is when it got lighter.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just for me, because now that it's 2024, I'm seeing bits and pieces of what I hope to see years ago.
Yeah, the truth,
justice.
Thank goodness now you see that we weren't just crazies.
Yeah,
we weren't crazies.
Change is here. And I'm excited for that.
And more people, actually, like that. That's the whole point of that, which was there's lots of people standing up for the rights now. Excellent. And we applaud you. And we're there with you in spirit. And whatever you need as a cheerleader. And it's your time to shine is what the whole purpose of that is. And yeah.
So, be the change you want to see in the world, however that is. It can be staying home as a mom. It can be following your heart and sharing big concepts of the world, like creating you in the universe. It can be literally showing up at the Canadian border or the US border and
or
being
Texas.
Those numbers that we needed.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So be blessed.
Be blessed and be you. And we're always here for whoever needs it. And welcome to being you in the universe. We'll be seeing lots about that.
Yes, being you in the universe is like metaphysical coaching. It's life coaching on a whole other level. So come check out our page and you can learn more.
Be blessed.
Until next time.